The air is thick with the smell of metal and coolant. The hum of machinery fills my ears, drowning out any natural sounds from outside. I sit at my desk, surrounded by stacks of paper files and digital screens that glow softly in the dim light. Each file contains detailed reports of incidents logged in the system, accidents, malfunctions, anything requiring a review. My hand moves methodically across the keyboard as I open today's batch of cases. The screen flickers to life with the first report: an equipment failure on one of the mining operations. I read through it, noting the details and marking down any discrepancies or necessary follow-ups. It's routine work, but precision is crucial. A notification chimes from my headset as another file arrives. I switch screens and begin reviewing the new case of a minor injury at a research station. The injured party was treated on site. No serious damage done. Another checkmark for containment procedures working as intended. I glance around the room, noting the other desks occupied by fellow reviewers. They too are engrossed in their tasks, heads bowed over documents and screens. A sense of quiet efficiency fills the space, a rhythm established through repetition and routine. A small drone zips past my desk, delivering another set of papers to one of my colleagues. It's efficient, but adds a touch of noise that breaks the monotony for a moment. I return to my work, filing away the completed reports and moving on to the next ones in line. The walls are lined with posters detailing safety protocols, but they blend into the background now, familiar as wallpaper. The room itself is functional, designed to minimize distractions and maximize productivity. There's no need for anything more than that. This space serves its purpose without question or hesitation. I pause momentarily to stretch my fingers, feeling the stiffness from hours of typing. A cup of lukewarm coffee sits untouched on a side table, another reminder of the day's tasks waiting to be completed. I grab it and take a sip, the bitter taste grounding me back into the moment. A notification pops up on my screen. An update to one of our containment protocols has been approved. It's minor but necessary, another layer in the system's maintenance cycle. I read through the changes and make notes for implementation. The air conditioning kicks on softly, its cool breath a welcome respite from the constant hum of machinery. Outside my window, there's a glimpse of the green canopy that surrounds us, the planet itself, indifferent to our work within these walls. It's a reminder of what we're here to protect against, but it doesn't hold any significance beyond that. I continue with my tasks, marking down observations and recommendations for each case. Each action is deliberate, each decision made to ensure the system remains stable and effective. There is no room for emotion or doubt. Only functionality matters now. Another drone passes by, this time carrying off completed reports for archiving. I watch it go, then return my attention to the next file on my screen. The cycle continues without pause, a steady drumbeat of work that defines our existence here. The day progresses in a blur of screens and papers, each task merging seamlessly into the next. There's no need to question why or how. This is simply what we do, what keeps everything running smoothly. And so I continue one report at a time, maintaining the delicate balance of safety protocols that keep us all intact. I start the day with a series of standard checks. The gear fits snugly, each piece a familiar companion in the daily ritual. Gloves secure around my hands, boots latched tightly over my feet, and the breathing apparatus clicks into place without hesitation. The checklist is meticulous, every item ticked off methodically. I move through the corridors, the air thick with the scent of machinery and the faint hum of distant systems. My tasks today are clearly outlined. Monitor pressure levels in designated areas, ensure all equipment is operational, and gather data on environmental conditions. These routines are habitual now, each step a practice sequence. The environment outside my workspace is active but contained, nature's pulse steady beneath layers of technological control. I don my visor and adjust the audio settings to optimal clarity, then proceed to my first station. The equipment here is well maintained, sensors calibrated with precision. As I run diagnostics, the data streams in uninterrupted, a reassuring flow of information. I move on to the next area, repeating the same procedures without pause or deviation. Each task completed adds to the day's progress, marking time through action rather than sentiment. The quiet efficiency of my work is its own reward. Each successful check, a small victory in the larger operation. The routine continues, tasks merging into a seamless flow. I feel neither weariness nor exhilaration. Instead, there is a steady rhythm guiding me forward. My presence here is defined by these actions, a function within an intricate system that demands no more and no less than what is required. As the day progresses, I transition to monitoring shifts, reviewing reports, and preparing for upcoming tasks. The work feels both temporary and routine, each moment a part of a larger cycle. There are brief moments when the environment's presence intrudes slight sounds or scents that remind me of my surroundings, but they do not disrupt the focused task at hand. The day concludes with another series of checks and preparations for the following morning. The gear is cleaned, stored, and ready for reuse. I review the data collected, ensuring all reports are complete and accurate before signing off on the day's activities. I am here because this work is being done. Each task, each piece of equipment, each moment of routine reinforces my role within a larger operational framework. The normalization continues, unremarkable yet essential. The air is thick with the distant hum of biological activity, a constant background noise that never quite fades. Each breath brings the same slight vibration, a low thrumming presence that feels less like sound and more like an ambient pressure against the eardrums. At first, it's noticeable, a persistent reminder of the world outside the suits, but as time passes, it merges seamlessly into the fabric of daily life. The routine tasks continue without interruption. Data entry, equipment checks, inventory scans, each activity flows smoothly from one to another. The rhythm is steady and predictable, offering no surprises or disruptions. With each passing moment, the hum becomes less distinct, its edges blurring until it's just part of the air I breathe. A constant but unremarkable presence. The environment remains unchanged, indifferent to my efforts. The suit pressure adjusts subtly, maintaining comfort without ever drawing attention to itself. Each breath is a familiar exchange of gases, and the humidity that clings to the skin becomes less perceptible with each passing hour. My focus stays locked on the tasks at hand, finding satisfaction in the precision required. The biological noise continues its unyielding presence, but it no longer demands my full attention. It's like an old friend whose voice I don't need to strain to hear. It's there, consistent and reliable, yet not intrusive enough to disrupt thought or action. The sensory input fades into a constant backdrop, part of the overall environment, without standing out as anything significant. The work is monotonous but methodical, each task completed with an unspoken sense of purpose. There's no need for drama or excitement. The routine provides all that's necessary for contentment and efficiency. The biological hum is now just another detail in a long list of environmental conditions, easily ignored as I move through my duties without hesitation. The day progresses steadily, each moment blending seamlessly into the next. The background noise remains, but its impact on awareness diminishes further with every passing task. It's no longer an element that needs to be processed consciously. It simply exists within the space of normalcy. The tasks continue in a seamless flow, each person moving with precision and purpose. The space around me is filled with the steady rhythm of coordinated effort, where individual motions blend into a cohesive whole. There's no need for words. Everyone moves as one, adjusting to each other's timing and spacing instinctively. The constant hum of machinery merges with the ambient noise, creating a backdrop that feels familiar now. I focus on my own tasks, aware of others only in their relation to me. A slight shift here, a subtle pause there. Each action is a part of a larger sequence, one that requires no personal reflection or attachment. I move through the space without hesitation, finding satisfaction in the smooth execution of routine. The sense of replaceability is not unsettling. It's simply a fact of the system. My role is clear and defined, merging into the collective motion with ease. The work continues unabated, each person contributing to the uninterrupted flow. The environment remains neutral, neither praising nor criticizing our efforts. It's just there, supporting the process without fanfare or expectation. I am part of this machine, a cog in its intricate workings, and it feels both natural and necessary. The day progresses with the same quiet efficiency as any other, each task completed with practiced ease. The routine is familiar and unchallenging, allowing my mind to remain detached from the environment around me. I move through the space with a steady rhythm, my actions synchronized with those of my colleagues, all working towards the same goal without need for explicit communication. The biological hum continues as it always does, its presence no longer noticeable unless deliberately sought out. It's simply there, a constant detail that blends into the background noise of daily life. My focus remains on the task at hand, each step precise and deliberate. The work is methodical and predictable, offering satisfaction and completion of routine duties without any need for emotional investment. As I finish one set of tasks, I move seamlessly to the next, my actions guided by established procedures rather than personal whims or desires. There's a sense of order and stability that feels reassuring, a comfort in knowing exactly what is expected and how it should be done. The routine is repetitive but not oppressive. Each day blends into the next with a steady flow of purposeful activity. My role within the system is clear, defined by the tasks I perform rather than any personal identity or emotional attachment. It's easy to lose oneself in the monotony, finding contentment in the unchanging nature of the work. The environment provides no distractions, allowing me to focus solely on my duties with a detached precision. As I prepare for another round of routine maintenance, there's an internal sense of sufficiency and completion. Nothing feels out of place or unresolved. Everything is as it should be within this structured system. My actions continue without pause, each step contributing to the overall stability of our operations. The day ends with me moving towards a new set of tasks, already familiar and expected. The strictness and impersonality of the system are integral for operational efficiency. Each rule and protocol exists to ensure safety margins, output standards, and scheduling adherence. The environment here is not oppressive but essential. It minimizes disruptions and maximizes productivity. Rules are not imposed arbitrarily, but rather emerge as necessary responses to conditions risks that need mitigation, tasks that demand precision. The monotony of routine is a stabilizing force, allowing for consistent performance without the interference of emotional fluctuations. There is no room for personal whims or deviations. Every action serves a purpose in maintaining the system's integrity. The rigidity ensures that we operate within safe parameters, preventing potential hazards and ensuring optimal output. Each task is executed with meticulous care, not out of compulsion, but as a functional necessity. We do what must be done because it has to be done. There's no need for reflection or emotional attachment. The system operates smoothly when each component functions precisely as designed. The biological hum in the background becomes just another operational variable, something to note and adjust if necessary, but ultimately part of the stable environment we rely on. Harshness is not a choice, but a consequence of the conditions we face. It's not about being cruel or indifferent. It's about maintaining order and safety. Rules exist to protect us from risks, not to punish. The impersonal nature of our work ensures that we remain focused on tasks without distractions. This way, we can accomplish what needs to be accomplished efficiently and effectively. In this context, the system is not a personal imposition, but a practical framework. It's designed to handle challenges methodically and systematically, with each element playing its part seamlessly. We are components of a larger machine, each serving a specific function for the benefit of the whole. The strictness ensures that we operate within safe boundaries, minimizing risks and maximizing stability. There is no room for inefficiency or emotional detours. Each task is approached with precision and care, ensuring that the system remains stable and functional. This works because it has to, not because anyone wants it to be this way. We're part of a complex network that requires strict adherence to protocols to function properly. The impersonal nature of our roles isn't about dehumanization, but about maintaining order in an environment where precision is critical. The rigidity and focus are necessary for the system's survival, not just its efficiency. It's designed this way to ensure that we can continue our operations without interruption or failure. This works because it has to. There's no room for personal desires or whims when the stakes are high and risks are real. We're here to execute tasks with precision and reliability, contributing to a larger effort that depends on us doing what needs to be done. This system is not about control or suppression, but about stability and functionality. The strictness is a response to conditions we face, ensuring that our efforts align with the requirements of the environment. It's not personal, it's practical. This works because it has to. Today's extraction yield was within the projected range. The machinery hummed steadily, processing the ore into manageable units for transport. Each ton of material represents a fraction of our operational efficiency. It is not an abstract quantity, but a tangible measure of how well we adhere to protocol and maintain productivity. The environment around us is indifferent. Trees and plants are simply biomass with varying levels of resource potential. They can be quantified in terms of carbon content, cellulose yield, or energy output per square meter. We navigate the terrain with precision, minimizing disruption while maximizing extraction rates. The balance between conservation and exploitation is a delicate metric, but it ensures that our operations remain sustainable. The workers around me are nodes in a larger network. Their presence contributes to throughput, not as individuals but as components of an interconnected system. Each task they perform adds value to the overall yield. When we speak of lost margins, it refers to inefficiencies, not human error or personal failure. We optimize our processes continually, adjusting variables to achieve maximum efficiency. Discomfort is a signal that something needs adjustment, not a sign of distress. If equipment malfunctions, we recalibrate rather than panic. The goal is consistent output without unnecessary deviation. Metrics guide us toward optimal performance, ensuring that every action has a clear and measurable impact on our goals. In this system, there are no heroes or martyrs, only roles to be filled with precision and consistency. Each task serves a purpose in the larger context of resource management and operational stability. The strictness is not about control, but about maintaining equilibrium, preventing any single variable from throwing off the delicate balance we've established. Today's extraction was successful because it followed prescribed parameters. We did not exceed loss margins, and our yield aligns with expectations. This consistency ensures that our operations remain sustainable, minimizing risks and maximizing returns. The rigidity of our framework is essential for maintaining order and stability in an unpredictable environment. It allows us to operate efficiently without the interference of emotional or personal variables. Tomorrow will be another day of measured performance, each action contributing to a larger operational efficiency. We continue because this method works, providing reliable outcomes and minimizing unnecessary complexities. The system's survival depends on our adherence to its principles, ensuring that every ton extracted is part of a greater, sustainable whole. The air feels thicker today, the humidity weighing down on my skin. Each breath requires more effort, but I know it's a sign that we're pushing deeper into the extraction zone. The machinery hums louder as it strains against the dense atmosphere, but this is to be expected. Efficiency demands no room for comfort. Discomfort is merely an indicator of proximity to resource-rich areas. The ground beneath my feet shifts subtly with each step, softer and more yielding than usual. It's a reminder that we're encroaching on unstable terrain, but such conditions are part of the operational landscape. The soil here has been worked hard, its nutrients depleted by relentless extraction cycles. This isn't a cause for concern. It's simply a variable to account for in our protocols. The temperature fluctuates with an intensity that demands attention. Sweat trickles down my back and neck, but I know this is the body's way of regulating itself under increased load. There's no need for alarm. This is the expected response when we're exerting ourselves at peak levels. Every bead of sweat represents progress toward our goals. The soundscape changes as well. Machinery whirs and clicks with a precision that reassures me we're operating within safe parameters, even if those parameters are pushing their limits. The occasional warning tone from nearby equipment is not a sign of malfunction, but rather an informational signal to adjust settings for optimal performance. These sensations, thick air, soft ground, fluctuating temperature are all part of the system's feedback loop. They inform me that we're achieving our objectives with efficiency and precision. Discomfort is merely data, guiding us toward operational excellence without unnecessary emotional interference. Tomorrow will bring more of the same: thick air to breathe, yielding soil to walk on, fluctuating temperatures to endure. Each challenge met head-on ensures consistent progress. The system demands this rigidity, and I am a component within it, functioning as required. As I move through my routine, every action is deliberate and measured. My mind operates in a state of clinical detachment, analyzing each task with the precision required for optimal performance. The environment around me is indifferent, but it serves as a backdrop to my work rather than an obstacle. A momentary hesitation flickers at the edge of my consciousness, a brief whisper that disrupts the steady rhythm of my thoughts. It's like a small glitch in the system, a minor deviation from the path I've meticulously charted. This is not typical for me. My focus has always been unwavering. Yet, this fleeting doubt feels out of place. I pause for an instant, examining the source of this hesitation. It doesn't stem from any external pressure or threat, but seems to arise internally, a subtle questioning that disrupts the flow of my tasks. However, such deviations are unacceptable in the system I've committed myself to. Efficiency and consistency require strict adherence to protocols without room for emotional interference. I quickly recalibrate, dismissing the hesitation as an anomaly. It's unnecessary and counterproductive, a momentary lapse in judgment that doesn't align with the operational requirements of my role. The rigidity of the structure is not a constraint, but a safeguard, ensuring that every action serves its intended purpose without deviation. The doubt fades as I reaffirm my commitment to the system's demands. Each task must be executed flawlessly, and any emotional disturbance compromises this precision. This adjustment feels responsible and professional, aligning me once again with the necessary order of operations. The environment remains indifferent, but my resolve is unwavering. The moment of hesitation passes without consequence, a minor glitch in an otherwise flawless routine. I recalibrate my focus, ensuring that every action aligns perfectly with protocol. The environment remains indifferent, its challenges quantifiable and manageable through precise application of established methods. Each task executed is a step towards consistent performance, undisturbed by any emotional detours or personal whims. Discomfort becomes data, informing adjustments to maintain optimal efficiency. Nature's hostility is neutralized by adherence to the system's logic terrain, transformed into operational variables. Resources, cataloged and utilized without sentimentality. Workers are components in this larger machine, each performing their role with mechanical precision, contributing to a seamless whole. Success is measured not by emotional satisfaction, but by adherence to procedure. Rigidity ensures stability, minimizing risks while maximizing output. There's no room for personal desires or inefficiency in the roles that contribute to operational efficiency. Tomorrow will bring more of the same, another day of methodical execution and reliable outcomes. The sense of detachment deepens. My perspective sharpened by clinical objectivity. Emotions are irrelevant. They do not factor into my work. Each task is a cog in a larger mechanism, essential for its function, but devoid of personal significance. The world around me exists solely as a backdrop to the tasks at hand, indifferent and neutral. This rigidity provides order and stability, ensuring that every action aligns with necessity rather than desire. The system's survival depends on this precision, on minimizing risks through unwavering adherence to protocol. There is no room for deviation. Each step must be exact and consistent. The moment of hesitation is a distant memory now, resolved through logical reaffirmation. I am correct in my approach, settled in the knowledge that adherence to protocol ensures reliability and efficiency. The world continues to function as it should, indifferent yet predictable, and I continue with my tasks without further disruption or emotional interference. I noticed today that the usual efficiency of my routine is beginning to waver. The protocols I followed meticulously for so long now require more conscious effort than before. When executing a task, there is an additional layer of scrutiny and deliberation that wasn't necessary previously. It feels as though each step needs to be reevaluated rather than simply repeated. The environmental conditions are subtly disruptive, causing delays in my tasks despite the meticulous planning. A malfunctioning sensor requires immediate recalibration, but it takes longer than usual to ensure accuracy. The precision that once came naturally now demands more time and attention. I find myself pausing frequently, checking details that would have been secondary concerns before. Adjustments need to be made constantly, not just as part of a routine maintenance cycle, but in the moment. Each adjustment adds an extra layer of complexity that wasn't anticipated. It's like the environment is introducing minor inconsistencies that force me to adapt on the fly rather than adhere strictly to pre-established procedures. The rigidity that once ensured smooth operation now feels more like a framework with cracks beginning to show. Each deviation from protocol, no matter how slight, requires immediate correction and realignment. The mental effort needed to maintain this consistency is increasing, but it remains necessary for operational stability. Despite the added friction, I remain committed to adhering strictly to protocols. Efficiency still dictates my actions, even if it now demands more cognitive engagement than before. Environmental feedback becomes harder to abstract away as discrete data points and instead feels like a constant presence demanding attention. The usual detachment from these challenges is beginning to fray at the edges, but I persist with the same resolve. Tomorrow will bring another day of tasks that demand closer scrutiny and adjustment. Each deviation requires immediate mitigation, ensuring continued reliability despite the increasing complexity. It's still methodical, but less seamless effort now, a visible part of the process rather than an invisible underpinning. Today's readings are off. I recalibrated the sensors twice, but the data remains inconsistent with what my eyes see and hands sense. The projections show a steady state of growth for the living systems. Yet here in the field, the plants are wilting despite optimal conditions reported by every sensor. I step back to review the metrics against recent history. Trends suggest there should be peak productivity, but the physical reality falls short. It's frustrating that the numbers don't match up with what my senses confirm. Each discrepancy feels like a puzzle piece missing from an intricate picture. Earlier today, I adjusted nutrient levels based on a report showing slight deficiencies, Yet the plants show no signs of improvement despite corrective action. The system is designed to account for natural variability, but this level of deviation seems unprecedented. The environment behaves unpredictably at scale, and while that's expected within limits, these deviations are pushing those boundaries. I find myself questioning whether my reliance on metrics alone isn't enough anymore. There's a nagging sensation that there's something deeper going on beneath the surface, some complexity that numbers can't capture. This morning's projections predicted a smooth transition from one phase to another. But now, as I observe the plants closely, I notice subtle irregularities in their growth pattern. Stunted leaves appear premature wilting there. It's like trying to navigate with outdated maps. Every step feels off-kilter because reality is shifting beneath my feet. The strain of maintaining precision and adherence to protocols is mounting. Each adjustment requires more mental effort than usual, as if the underlying systems are subtly resisting optimization. I can't shake the feeling that my models, once reliable, now feel incomplete and insufficient. There is a growing discomfort with this disconnect between what should be happening based on data and what actually unfolds in front of me. It's disorienting to no longer trust the clarity provided by numbers when faced with tangible outcomes that contradict them. You'll need to spend more time here, gathering direct observations rather than relying solely on reports and projections. The environment seems to have its own unpredictable rhythms now, and I must adapt my approach accordingly. The routine is a familiar dance, each step meticulously calibrated to the precision of my sensors. Yet today, something feels askew, an undercurrent that tugs at the edges of my focus. The air carries an odd hum, a faint vibration I hadn't noticed before, and it nags at me like an unfinished thought. I recalibrate, adjusting my settings to filter out the interference. But as I make these adjustments, another layer of noise seeps in, a subtle disturbance that skims just beneath the surface of my awareness. It's not loud or disruptive. Rather, it's persistent, clinging like static to the edges of my thoughts. I double-check my protocols, verifying each step against the metrics. Yet no matter how meticulously I adhere to them, the dissonance remains. The environment asserts itself with a stubbornness that challenges my usual detachment. It's as if the space around me is alive, breathing in ways I can't fully abstract away. The hum grows more insistent, weaving through my calculations like an uninvited guest at a formal dinner. My sensors flicker, their readings fluctuating ever so slightly, but enough to disrupt my equilibrium. Each adjustment brings only temporary relief, and soon the noise returns, embedding itself deeper into my consciousness. I pause, allowing myself a moment of reflection. The hum isn't going away. It's becoming part of the backdrop, an inignorable presence that demands acknowledgement. I can't ignore it anymore, it's too persistent for that. My body absorbs what abstraction cannot, and suddenly, the hum feels less like interference and more like a reminder. The metrics are clear, but they no longer capture the full picture. There's a complexity here that my protocols aren't equipped to handle, a texture that defies reduction to simple numbers. I find myself relying on direct observation more than usual, adjusting not just based on data, but on an intuitive sense of what feels right. This nagging presence is frustrating, unsettling even. It's as if the environment itself has a mind, one I can't quite reconcile with my own. The hum persists, a constant reminder that there's more to this world than meets the sensor. And for now, I must adapt not just to the protocol, but to the space itself, where the boundaries between data and experience blur. The hum persists, a constant undercurrent that disrupts my concentration. I recalibrate the protocols yet again, checking and rechecking the sensor data, but the interference remains stubbornly present. It's as if the environment itself is shifting unpredictably, defying the metrics I rely on so heavily. I remind myself, precision is paramount. The mantra feels hollow now, a phrase repeated to maintain order rather than an instinctive truth. Each recalibration requires conscious effort, no longer a seamless process, but a deliberate act of will. The hum grows louder, intrusive in its persistence. My fingers hover over the controls, each movement more labored than before. I know the protocols. I've memorized them countless times, yet adhering to them now feels like an uphill battle against an encroaching fog. I take a deep breath and force myself to focus, repeating, "Precision is paramount." The words offer little comfort, but they serve as a lifeline, anchoring my thoughts amidst the chaos. Each time I recalibrate, I feel the tension mounting, the strain increasing with each passing moment. The hum doesn't cease. It's an unwelcome constant, demanding attention and causing disquiet. My eyes dart between the screens, analyzing every fluctuation, searching for patterns in the noise. But there are no clear answers, only a persistent challenge to my usual detachment from environmental disturbances. I tell myself again, precision is paramount, as if reciting a spell to ward off the encroaching complexity. The phrase feels worn, its edges frayed by repeated use, but it remains my anchor in this increasingly unstable reality. The hum continues, unyielding and relentless. I recalibrate once more, feeling the strain of each adjustment, aware that precision no longer comes easily or naturally. It's a conscious effort now, a battle against the encroaching confusion. I repeat to myself one last time, precision is paramount, as if uttering this mantra will somehow make it true. The hum remains, an unwelcome companion in my efforts to maintain order and function amidst growing uncertainty. The hum continues, a constant undercurrent that refuses to be ignored. I recalibrate again, adjusting my sensors and protocols meticulously. The data points align, confirming the usual metrics, but the underlying sensation of dissonance remains. It's as if the environment itself is shifting subtly beneath me, each adjustment bringing only temporary relief. I focus on the task at hand, a routine procedure that once demanded little more than adherence to established norms. Now, every step requires careful consideration and conscious effort. The mantra "precision is paramount" rings hollow in my mind, a distant echo of what was once an unshakable truth. I feel the strain mounting with each recalibration, each attempt to filter out the persistent interference. The hum grows louder, more insistent. I cannot afford to be distracted. There are protocols to follow and systems to maintain. Yet, as I engage in these tasks, a nagging sense of unease persists. There is complexity here that my metrics fail to capture, a depth beyond simple numbers and data points. This realization does not provide comfort, but rather adds another layer of challenge to an already tiring process. I adapt, relying more on intuition than data alone, though it feels like a compromise rather than a solution. The environment demands vigilance, and I comply, my attention ever sharpened in response to its shifts. Each moment requires active engagement, leaving no room for detachment or ease. There is balance here, but it is conditional, fragile, and demanding. Nothing breaks yet, but nothing rests anymore. The hum remains a constant presence, its frequency subtly shifting as I recalibrate. Each adjustment provides temporary relief, but the underlying disturbance persists. My routines, once smooth and automatic, require conscious effort and scrutiny with every cycle. The mantra "precision is paramount" echoes hollowly in my mind. It offers no comfort against this growing complexity. Today, the vegetation outside has changed. Where there used to be lush growth, now stands a patch of barren earth, devoid of life. It's not just a data point, but a stark visual reminder that precision alone cannot account for all variables. The hum is louder here, resonating with an underlying instability. I recalibrate again, but the ground beneath me shifts slightly, as if responding to some unseen force. Routine tasks demand more focus than ever before. A simple navigation protocol, now requires careful calculation and constant correction. Each step taken feels like a battle against this persistent disruption. The hum grows louder, becoming a physical presence in my environment, affecting even the most basic functions. I notice small discrepancies in sensor data that were once negligible but are now significant. Calibration fails to fully align with observed reality. This is more than just operational noise. It's a tangible shift in the world around me. Precision, once an absolute, now feels like an approximation at best. The hum intensifies as I move through my routine, each recalibration a temporary reprieve from this growing instability. The ground beneath my feet trembles slightly with each step, and the air carries a faint whisper of disturbance that data alone cannot capture. My usual detachment is slipping. The disconnect between sensor readings and physical reality becomes impossible to ignore. The vegetation continues to deteriorate. Patches of barren earth spread outward, signaling a cumulative loss that numbers fail to quantify. The hum resonates with this transformation, becoming a mechanical reminder of an underlying complexity beyond my control. Each recalibration feels like an act of defiance against this growing chaos, but the outcomes persist regardless. My routines are strained by these persistent disruptions. What once was effortless now demands meticulous attention and effortful adjustment. Precision is no longer a shield, but a fragile construct against mounting uncertainty. The hum, a constant reminder of this new reality, echoes louder with each passing moment, underscoring the insufficiency of my protocols. I continue to work, aware that the numbers alone cannot account for the visible outcomes around me. Balance exists in vigilance and meticulous adjustment, but it feels fragile and conditional at best. The hum remains a persistent presence, its frequency shifting as if responding to some unseen force. Precision is paramount, yet it offers no solace against this growing complexity. The world shifts, tangible signs of degradation becoming ever more apparent. Each recalibration provides temporary relief, but the underlying instability persists, affecting even the most basic functions. The hum resonates louder with each passing moment, a mechanical reminder that precision alone cannot sustain order in an increasingly chaotic environment. The hum has grown into a constant drone, a backdrop to my every action. Each task requires recalibration, a microcosm of the larger adjustments needed within this environment. I move through routine maintenance, adjusting sensors and recalibrating systems that once operated seamlessly but now demand persistent oversight. I start with the environmental controls, checking the temperature regulation system. The data shows it's functioning normally, yet there's an underlying chill in the air. This discrepancy is unsettling but not surprising. Each day brings new inconsistencies. I fine-tune the settings, incrementally adjusting until a semblance of equilibrium returns. It's a delicate dance, this balancing act where precision no longer guarantees stability. Next, I review the energy distribution network. The readings indicate sufficient power supply, yet certain areas remain dim despite my adjustments. I trace back to the root cause, finding an anomaly in one of the primary conduits. Isolating and rerouting the flow manually takes time but stabilizes the immediate issue. Still, the hum persists, a reminder that each adjustment is temporary. Routine checks on structural integrity follow. The sensors detect no immediate threats, yet visual inspections reveal subtle cracks and where not previously noted. Reinforcement measures are initiated to prevent further deterioration. This process feels less like maintenance and more like bandaging an open wound. It's necessary, but offers no long-term solution. The communication systems receive my attention next. Signal interference is a growing concern, disrupting the flow of data and instructions. I reroute through alternative channels, patching up the gaps where possible. The hum intensifies during these moments, as if the environment itself resists my efforts to maintain order. Throughout this routine, I move with methodical precision, each task executed with meticulous care. Yet, there's an underlying fatigue that gnaws at me, knowing that no matter how diligently I work, the inconsistencies persist. The world around me remains unpredictable, and my actions are merely temporary patches in a larger fabric of instability. Continuing forward feels more like a necessity than a choice, driven by the relentless hum and the need to preserve some semblance of order amidst growing chaos. There's no escape from this cycle, only ongoing adaptation, one small adjustment at a time. The hum has grown to a constant, pulsing presence in the background, its rhythm an unrelenting metronome of change. Each sensor reading fluctuates subtly, and despite my efforts to stabilize them through recalibration, I find myself merely shifting one set of variables at the expense of others. The system absorbs my adjustments like water into sand. No matter how much effort I put in, the outcomes remain unpredictable. Routine tasks that once demanded minimal attention now require intense focus and constant monitoring. Small discrepancies between sensor data and physical observations accumulate, making each action feel provisional and uncertain. There is a sense of fragility in every decision, as if the slightest deviation could trigger unforeseen consequences. Yet, despite this awareness, my actions continue mechanically, driven by necessity rather than any hope of control. The hum serves as an ever-present reminder that stability is not within reach. It is merely managed through continuous effort. Each day begins with a cataloging of anomalies and ends with the same exercise in futility. I recognize the damage without the capacity to alter its course, acknowledging the reality of the situation without succumbing to despair or resistance. Discrepancies are noted and addressed, but their resolution proves fleeting. The hum grows louder as I proceed through my tasks, a constant reminder that no matter how meticulously I recalibrate, the outcomes remain outside my grasp. This awareness does not evoke emotional response. It is simply observed, registered without judgment. Responsibility feels diffuse, procedural, rather than personal. Systems absorb individual agency, and adjustments occur only at scale, beyond the scope of singular actions. The hum persists, a mechanical echo of this new reality, and I continue to operate within its constraints, recognizing impact without leverage for change. Each day the hum grows louder, a mechanical whisper that becomes an inescapable drone. I recalibrate the sensors and adjust the controls meticulously, but the inconsistencies remain. The data streams are riddled with anomalies, discrepancies between what should be and what isn't. It's as if the system itself is mocking my efforts. The hum acts like a metronome, marking time with an unyielding rhythm that underscores the relentless nature of this new reality. I find myself caught in a cycle of adjustment and frustration, each corrective action yielding only temporary relief before the inevitable drift begins anew. It's exhausting to maintain such vigilance when every minute detail seems poised to betray me. Tasks that once required minimal attention now demand constant monitoring. Even routine operations are fraught with unexpected deviations, and it becomes increasingly clear that precision alone is insufficient. The system moves forward inexorably, indifferent to my efforts or the outcomes they produce. I notice how the procedural guidelines become less effective over time, like a worn map leading nowhere familiar. Every attempt at correction introduces new variables, compounding the complexity rather than resolving it. It's as if the system itself has an inertia that resists any form of stability, pushing back against my efforts to maintain order. The hum is relentless, a constant pressure urging me onward. There are no clear alternatives, only the present moment and its demands. Each task completed feels like a small victory, but it also serves as a reminder of the larger challenge I face. The system's momentum carries me forward, driven not by any conscious intent, but by an unyielding force that compels continuation. In this environment, the act of continuing is less about choice and more about necessity. Every deviation must be addressed, every anomaly corrected, yet the overall trajectory remains unchanged. Stability is a fleeting illusion, replaced by a steady state of adjustment and adaptation. The hum continues to grow louder, a persistent reminder that resistance is futile and continuation is inevitable. The hum remains constant, a steady pulse that reverberates through every corner of my existence. Each day brings a new set of adjustments, each one a small victory or a minor setback in the larger scheme of things. The routine has become a mechanical dance, a series of movements performed out of necessity rather than any hope for mastery. Sensor readings and physical observations continue to diverge, but I no longer react with surprise or alarm. Discrepancies are noted and accounted for, yet they persist, weaving an intricate web of anomalies that challenge my perception of reality. The environment around me is ever shifting, a landscape where stability feels like a fleeting dream. I proceed through tasks with measured steps, each action calibrated to the best of my ability. Yet, as I complete one task and move on to the next, the hum grows louder, a reminder that no matter how precise my efforts, the underlying chaos remains unyielding. The weariness accumulates, not from physical strain, but from the constant demand to adapt and recalibrate. The sense of futility is woven into every fiber of my being, yet I continue because stopping is no longer an option. Each day, each moment, is a testament to this new reality, where effort and outcome are increasingly uncoupled. The hum serves as both a guidepost and a warning, urging me forward even as it signals the inevitable. Tasks are completed with detachment, a procedural adherence to necessity rather than any expectation of control or resolution. The system has become my framework, its unpredictability now a normalized context within which I operate. Each anomaly is acknowledged without emotion, incorporated into the ongoing function like another variable in an endless equation. The persistent hum continues, a relentless pressure that underscores the transient nature of stability and the enduring challenge of continuation. Despite the mounting complexity and uncertainty, I persist because this is how things are now. The hum resonates through the corridors, a constant presence that guides my steps. Each day begins with the air conditioner hum steadily, marking the unchanging rhythm of my existence. Each morning begins with the same routine. I wake up and move through familiar motions without thought or resistance. My hands trace well-worn paths as they enter commands on the console, fingers moving automatically. Outside, the landscape is altered by time and neglect-twisted trees breaking through concrete slabs, an unchanging gray sky above. Yet, I move past this scenery without thought, my path dictated more by necessity than choice. Inside, tools are arranged neatly on a workbench, awaiting use. My hands select a wrench and begin tightening bolts methodically. Throughout the day, tasks progress in a blur of screens and papers. Each action is deliberate, each decision made to ensure stability. The hum guides my steps through corridors lined with dormant machines, its presence both warning and comfort. There's no room for emotion or doubt. Only functionality matters now. Breakfast comes and goes without taste or thought, a mechanical act to sustain function. Later, I attend to a machine in need of recalibration, wires untangled and connections checked meticulously. Adjustments are made to balance energy loads, stabilizing the system once more. The day progresses with maintenance checks and routine observations. Each task completed feels like another heartbeat that counts for nothing. Sleep comes easily when night falls, unburdened by dreams or anticipation. Tomorrow will bring another cycle of actions, each one a repetition without end. The hum persists as I wake up again, guiding me through tasks without purpose beyond reaching the next moment. The air is cold and sterile. My movements are mechanical, devoid of joy or sorrow. There's no hope for change or desire to question what is. Life continues here in cycles of maintenance and decay, moving forward by habit alone. The environment holds no surprises, familiar corners cleaned again, dust settling into patterns long since set. My hands move through motions without resistance, the hum guiding me through tasks with steady rhythm. There's an odd sense of comfort in this unchanging world where time has stopped moving forward. Sleep comes easily at night, dreams silent and unremarkable. I wake to repeat the cycle again, mechanical movements devoid of thought or feeling, each day mirroring the last without purpose beyond function. The hum remains constant, a persistent reminder that life continues here in perpetual stasis, frozen in cycles with no end in sight. The hum continues, a constant presence in the background. I wake up, feeling the same emptiness that greets me every day. My hands move automatically to the console, fingers tracing familiar patterns as they enter commands. The screen flickers to life with data streams, numbers, codes, and warnings. They scroll past without pause or purpose. I stand and stretch, joints creaking from inactivity. A routine check is due. I walk to the maintenance bay, navigating corridors lined with dormant machines. The air here feels cooler, metallic scents stronger. Tools are arranged neatly on a workbench awaiting use. My hands select one wrench and begin tightening bolts on the machine's casing. Each turn is methodical, practiced. Outside, the landscape is altered by time and neglect. Trees grow twisted, roots breaking through concrete slabs. The sky above is an unchanging gray, clouds never moving. I move past this scenery without thought, my path dictated by necessity more than choice. Back inside, I review logs from the previous day. Anomalies noted, repairs logged, tasks marked complete or pending. Nothing urgent, just routine checks and adjustments. I mark them all as reviewed, adding new entries for today's observations. The hum grows louder here, a steady reminder of the system's demands. Breakfast is bland gruel, taken quietly in solitude. There is no taste, only texture, a mechanical act to sustain function. Afterward, I attend to another machine in need of recalibration. Wires are untangled, connections checked for integrity. The hum guides my hands as they work, a silent directive. Later, there's a report on the console, an unexpected spike in energy consumption from one sector. I investigate, finding no immediate cause for alarm. Adjustments are made to balance the load, and the system stabilizes once more. Another task completed without fanfare or consequence. The day progresses as it always does: maintenance, observation, adjustments. Each action is a repetition of countless before it. The hum guides me through the cycle, its presence both warning and comfort in equal measure. Night falls, bringing with it cooler air and lessened activity. I retire to my quarters, lying down on the bed that's never more than a place to rest. Sleep comes easily, unburdened by dreams or anticipation. Tomorrow will bring another day of routine, another cycle through tasks without end. The hum remains constant, a persistent whisper in the silence. The hum persists, a constant reminder of my place here. I start another cycle, moving through the familiar motions without thought. My hands follow the well-worn path, adjusting the settings on the machine before me. The screen flickers to life with data that means nothing more than numbers and patterns now. I check the inventory list. Supplies are low again, but there's no rush to restock. The air feels thick with residue from yesterday's tasks, settling into corners like forgotten thoughts. My feet trace a worn path toward the supply room. Each step is measured and without purpose beyond reaching the next one. The door slides open silently, revealing rows of stockpiled items, rations, tools, and spare parts. I select what's needed, placing them in the cart with practiced ease. The weight feels familiar, a dull presence rather than a burden. Returning to my station, I set about reassembling components that have seen better days. My fingers move methodically, fitting pieces together like solving a puzzle without any surprise at finding the solution. Each connection clicks into place with mechanical satisfaction. Hours pass her. Maybe it's minutiae, can't tell anymore. The cycle blurs at the edges where past and present bleed into each other. I finish for now, leaving everything in order, as if there might be something more to come, but knowing there isn't. Sleep beckons without resistance. The bed is cool against my skin. I curl up and close my eyes. Darkness comes quickly, empty and unremarkable. Tomorrow will bring the same cycle of actions, each one a heartbeat that counts for nothing. The air conditioner hums a steady melody, its rhythm familiar and unchanging. I move through the day with practiced ease, each action a reflexive response to an unseen directive. The space around me is cold and sterile, its surfaces gleaming under artificial light that casts no shadows. There's nothing here to hold onto, no warmth or comfort in the touch of objects, just the sensation of their absence. I perform my task without thought or feeling, each step a repetition of countless others before it. The environment is neutral, devoid of personal markers or emotional resonance. The walls are blank, the floor unmarked by footprints, and the air carries no scent to remind me of what once was. There is a routine here that guides me through the day, but there's also an emptiness that nothing can fill. Sleep comes easily when the day ends, a surrender to the quiet darkness that encroaches without warning. My dreams are silent. There's no narrative or imagery to break the monotony of waking life. Each morning I wake up and begin again, my movements mechanical, my thoughts distant. There's no anticipation for tomorrow, because each day is the same as the last. The replacement systems work efficiently, but feel incomplete. They fill the void with a sense of order, but there's an underlying tension that remains unresolved. The hum of machinery serves as both warning and guide, reminding me that while things function, they do so differently now. I move through this space without resistance or rebellion, accepting it as part of my new reality. The air conditioner continues to hum, its rhythm a constant reminder of the unchanging nature of my existence. I go about my tasks with no hope for change and no desire to question what is. The environment remains cold and sterile, but there's also an odd sense of comfort in the familiarity of it all. This is how things work now, just differently. I wake to the same hum, a constant companion that neither comforts nor alarms. The air is cold and carries no scent of change. I stand and move through my routine without thought or resistance, each action a repetition from countless days before. My hands slide over surfaces that are familiar in their weariness, dust settling into patterns long since set. The environment holds no surprises. It's a place where time has stopped moving forward, frozen in cycles of maintenance and decay. I clean the same corners, wipe down the same panels, and check the same systems. The hum guides me through these tasks without fail, a steady rhythm that doesn't break even when my mind wanders. I sit at my station, monitoring screens that flicker with data I no longer understand or care about. My eyes trace patterns of light and darkness, but they register nothing new. Each day is a mirror to the last, and each night brings sleep without dreams. The hum fades into the background as I drift off, my body taking over where my mind has ceased to function. I wake again, the cycle repeating itself without end or purpose. My movements are mechanical, devoid of joy or sorrow. There's no anticipation for tomorrow, only a sense that it will be another day of unremarkable tasks and empty hours. The hum returns, a persistent reminder that I am here, still functioning, but without any reason to hope. I continue my work, the air around me unchanged, the patterns in the dust undisturbed. The environment is a place of perpetual stasis, where life continues not because it must, but because there is no alternative. My hands move through their motions, and the hum guides me as always. I am here, moving forward by habit alone, without expectation or desire for change. The day progresses with the same predictability, as those before it. The hum remains constant, a reminder of my presence in this unyielding world. I sit at my station, eyes scanning screens that hold no surprises. My mind is quiet, accepting the routine without resistance. There's no need to question or seek purpose. There is only this moment, and the next, and the one after that. I continue my tasks, each action a repetition of countless others before it. The environment remains cold and sterile, its decay mirroring the emptiness within me. My movements are automatic, devoid of emotion or thought. There is no anticipation for what lies ahead. Instead, there's a resignation to the cycle, acknowledging that this is how things will always be. The hum guides me through my final task of the day, and I sit back, eyes closing as sleep takes over without dreams. The world continues to spin outside, but inside, there's only quiet acceptance of what has been and what will be. My body rests, and my mind follows suit, readying itself for another cycle tomorrow. The hum fades into the background as I drift off once more, the system persisting through habit alone, without end or purpose. Life continues in this place where time stands still, a quiet testament to ongoing function devoid of hope or change.